it's been so long since someone's mentioned that duet that it was like not even in my direct memory, whatever. Anyways, as I said, happy birthday. I hope you have a fantastic day, and thanks again for all the support. Okay, bye. Sorry, just had to do a cameo, which I'm on Cameo, if you want. Link down below. Welcome back to Riley Reacts, where I, Brittany Raymond, the actor and dancer who played Riley from The Next Step, react to my time on that show. We're back to Season 1, Episode 16. That's right, folks, we're barreling through with Season 1. A couple things. I've got some questions ready to go that I'm going to answer throughout this video. However, there was a crazy amount of questions that have popped up over the last couple weeks from last Riley Reacts video, which if you haven't seen, you should check it out here. Because there's so many questions, I decided I'm going to do a completely separate Q&A video. I think someone mentioned they wanted a Q&A. I don't know when that's coming, but if you have any questions that you want me to answer, pop it down below and I'll pull from there. All right, shall we jump into it? Previously on The Next Step, James was about to be kicked out of the studio because his math grades were tanking. However, Michelle jumped in and was like, what if he leaves for a week? If he can get his grades up, then he can stay with us and come to regionals with us. Yay, Michelle, saves the day. Then, Michelle sees Emily touching Eldon's hand or holding his hand, and it's clear that they're like getting along and there's some chemistry there. And Michelle confesses that she's bothered about it.
I don't know why.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's sweet. What else is going on? Oh, and then of course the whole, Michelle's like, hey, you're not including everyone's moves in your routine. And she like confronted Emily about that and being like, your approach to being a dance captain isn't the way that I would do it. And then Michelle does the whole, overthrow. And then Michelle's officially dance captain and Miss Kate's like, okay, Emily, I hope you're gonna be a team player. Let's see what happens.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Oh my
7,
gosh! I remember that routine. This whole thing, and then you go to the floor, you roll, and then you catch the ball, you throw it in the air, you catch it in the other hand, and then you come down, you do the little... The reason why that's come to me so easily, I think, is because Brennan actually on his YouTube channel, which if you haven't checked this video out, you totally should, he started up a series last year called Dance Dates, where he brought in me, I think. No, this one was when he brought in Jenny, who plays Chloe. We went to his studio, and I got to be in it because I was filming, and he then was like, be in the dance with us, so I did the dance with them. And so we were relearning the Addicted to You dance, Michelle's version, which was that. So that's why it's like right at the top of my mind.
1.
Oh, the Riley roll up in action. It's so funny how that became like a thing, but that was just how my dance studio liked to wear their shorts. Like I would wear tighter shorts and then looser shorts over top, and then I would roll one side up, or sometimes both, because it was just like a fidgeting habit, almost like how maybe soccer players will roll up their sleeves. So I was always doing it, and then wardrobe was like, okay, if you're gonna do that, you have to choose one leg or the other because it looked like a diaper. I for sure said this in an earlier reaction video. I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself.
I gotta go. I have a shift. I'm the only person in A Troop that knows about Chloe's financial problems.
Oh, I forgot about that. Michelle found out about Chloe having the job, and it's become a problem because she can't stay and dance. Obviously, that's what we remember this, yes?
I'm flabbergasted. 2, 3, 4.
Flabbergasted. I kind of love Emily. I think she's maybe one of my favorite characters.
I'm not marking these ridiculous moves. What is this?
How are they ridiculous? We made them up as a team.
Yeah, actually, I think her moves are pretty cool, Emily.
Eldon, you sweetie. I can also understand why she's like, well, Chloe's not even here, so what's the difference if me not doing it and Chloe not being here? But that's not the stance she took. That's what I thought she was gonna say, which is why I kept watching, because I thought then I would get the opportunity to say this then, but she then decided to take it to the like, oh, this move is dumb or whatever. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with that.
Eldon defending me is really sweet, actually. I didn't expect him to do that.
The little laugh at the end was so cute. Oh, Michelle, she's just like a little button. Just a little button. The one thing I think I like about Emily or Alex's performance in this, she's bringing a certain amount of power behind her. There's a sense of strength behind her leadership that you go, oh yeah, I buy her being a dance captain and being like a strong leader, whereas Michelle's much more like soft and delicate, and yeah, it's like, yeah, let's be a team, let's all be like friends, let's have fun. But in a dance competition setting, the strong leader tends to be better, in my opinion, which is sort of interesting how Riley was always like, no, Michelle is better because we need to be a team. But I actually think Emily is a better for the nature of what dance competitions are. This is something else I was thinking about the other day. I'm going off on a side tangent here. Tell me if this bothers you or bores you, but dance competitions themselves are just like the kind of environment that promotes athleticism, and it's very much based on technique and ability, and if you can become like really strong technicians in dance, then you can score really well and take home all the overalls and like win the competition, so to speak. But the artistic component of dance, the sort of like exploration part of it, the part that more so celebrates and helps you cultivate your own way of moving, and like, you know, rather than trying to make you fit into the mold of a certain style so that you can win awards at competitions, it's more about finding how does your body like to move, what are your own strengths, how can we like take what you naturally feel like doing and like amplify that and like grow from there. And that I think is more of an artistic approach, I guess. And it's interesting how I since leaving the next step haven't really danced much, and I think it's because I started dancing when I was younger and loved it, and then went into the competitive dance world, and it kind of killed the joy of it a little bit for me because it was so heavily focused on technique and training, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with treating it like a sport. But when you're missing that artistic component, when most of the training focuses on technique and not enough on the exploration and the sort of soul of it, then you're missing something so important. And I think that was something that, I don't know what got me onto this. Oh, the whole like dance captain thing. So maybe Michelle is more of like the artistic soul expression dance captain, and then Emily is sort of like the strength and the technique. And that's what makes it sort of different, and that's why together they're better. I'm seeing more and more what they were doing with this. Or maybe I'm just being reminded of it. Anyways.
Kate notices that Emily's not trying at all, and right now I think that she's gonna get in a little bit of trouble. So take it one last time from the lyrical.
Okay, hold on. Someone wanted me to do this. I can't remember who. There you go. Okay, time for a random question. How were dancers selected on TNS? Well, from what I remember from the seasons that I was on it, they were looking for dancers who were really interesting and unique. The styles didn't necessarily have to match, which is why we have a lot of like contemporary dancers, and then a lot of flippy, tricky b-boy dancers, and then we have acrobatic dancers. Really competitive dancers for the most part, especially in this season, meaning you're dancing like 30 hours a week, 40 hours a week sometimes. For the most part, some dancers were coming in from either more recreational studios, or they were coming in with more of an acting background. Like Alex Beaton didn't really have much dance experience, but her acting was so strong, that's part of the reason why they wanted her to be the lead. But yeah, I think fundamentally they were looking in the first season just for really good dancers who could do the choreography that Amy would give them. They would be able to like do the group dances, but we could also do like interesting solo stuff, whatever. And then they also wanted interesting people so that they could write story about us. And also, do you look 17? Do you look 16? You know, like there was so many different factors as to who they cast for this, but that's how we were cast, so.
Don't even say that. You were phenomenal. That's why I chose you.
Why couldn't you stick to that choice? Why did you let them vote, Miss Kate?
I know that we've worked so hard for so long, but everyone still needs you to contribute and to be a part of the team and to help guide them.
I kind of see Emily's point here. Yeah, I just always found that to be quite strange that Miss Kate never also then explains why she let the dancers vote. Like, it's a team building thing, it's a what, maybe she's about to say that?
I absolutely feel for Emily. Her world has been rocked. You know that I lost my dance captaincy?
It makes sense that Miss Kate takes the moment to be like, oh, you know, this was my opportunity, or like, I lost the same opportunity that you did. It was a different circumstance and whatever.
I injured myself really badly before competition. Lost my spot in the line, lost my captaincy.
Yeah, the way that Emily lost it was so much harder because it wasn't like, oh, you broke your ankle, therefore you just can't do this anymore.
The whole team didn't vote against you.
That's so problematic. That's like, that's traumatizing for a kid. For her to go through that, that's really harsh. To have the entire team vote and do it in such a public way.
You have to decide if you're gonna focus on you and all of this hurt and pain and frustration that you're going through, or if you're gonna focus on the team.
I get why she's kind of like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Makes me wonder if I even belong in H Troop anymore.
Yikes.
Yo, you alright, man?
Yeah, I don't know. I landed funny in rehearsal the other day. I think it just kind of tweaked my ankle.
Yeah?
Sure. Yeah, it'll be fine though.
Yeah. You sure?
Yeah. I'm just gonna grab a juice.
Right.
I just thought of a fun storyline. Daniel gets a crush on James. Then Daniel and Riley have this like weird tension and Daniel can't talk about it because he's not out yet. Oh, that's good. But of course we can't do that anymore because, you know.
Okay, you know when you overpronounce your words, I know for a fact that you're lying.
I don't overpronounce my words.
You just did it again.
Nope.
This is such a sweet scene. These two like lovebirds or like soon to be lovebirds and the whole idea of like him being like,
Why can't you just take one little chance and embarrass yourself?
come on, Emily, just take a shot. Be brave and be embarrassing for this moment. Because she's like embarrassed about sharing this thing with him.
Do you ever wonder why I choreograph my dances the way I do? Those are the only moves I can do. That's why I never take any suggestions from other people.
Oh, I love that little compassionate thing that we now feel for Emily because she's revealing to us why she doesn't want to include everyone's moves. That's good writing.
You might not be able to do it right now, but I'm not gonna stop until you can do them.
Promise?
I promise.
I'm hugging Eldon because it just feels right.
Anytime a character does something, I can use the scene as an example because I just watched it, but when a character does something and they go like, oh, I did this thing because blah, 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 blah. It's the reason why that is because the talking heads sequences that we would always do would be us sitting in a chair and we would have like a script of questions given to us or statements that we would have to say. Sometimes we would just show, actually no, for season 1 they weren't that prepared. We would just show up on the talking heads chair, sit down, and then they'd be like, okay, so this is the talking heads for that scene where this happens. Do you remember where Eldon comes in and is comforting you because you don't feel like you can do Michelle's moves and you feel embarrassed by that and whatever, and then he tells you he's going to teach you the moves. Remember how you hugged him in that scene? Tell us, why did you hug him? And then Alex in the chair would then go, I hugged Eldon because it just felt right, whatever she said. And the reason why they wanted that first initial thing is because they needed the question in the answer. And the easiest way to do that is to just go, I did this thing because, and then we answer the question. So many of the talking heads in season 1 are, I did this thing because this, I did this thing because that. Since this season, they've now made them way more scripted. They apparently have them on a teleprompter in front of the camera so that the actor sitting in the talking heads chair will just like read the lines. This leads me to another question, a random question. Perfect, that someone asked. I can't remember who asked this. Maybe there was a couple people who asked if the show is scripted, which the answer to that is yes and no. It was scripted in that these are all character names. Like my real name is Brittany. My character name was Riley. The circumstances like Riley and James dating were something that was given to us in the script. It wasn't something that naturally happened. It was meant to be filmed like a reality show, and they were scripting it. The unscripted part of it was really that we were making up our lines on the spot. And so when the talking heads would happen, they would ask us a question and we would answer it honestly in our character. Like, how would our character feel in this moment? And if we didn't know what to say, there was always a writer there. So we could be like, hey, what do I say in this moment? I'm not thinking of anything. And they'd be like, what if you said something like this or whatever? And we would kind of craft it together. And then I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll say that. Even the scenes, everything, there was no real dialogue. Sometimes they would give us dialogue in the moment. Just a fun little fact for you, for anyone who didn't know. And kind of a random question.
I just wanted to talk to you about switching up the positioning of the dancers in my routine.
That's something Emily never would have done. It shows a lot of initiative, but also that she still respects my opinion. And
But also, aren't regionals right around the corner? And that seems... Oh no, what am I saying? It's just a line change. It's so small. It's such a simple shift. You can do that like the day of the competition. What am I saying?
2, and
My hands don't move like that.
everyone's hands move like that.
That's adorable.
Guys, I've made a decision to change up the lines a little bit in the routine. So I'm gonna need you guys to re-audition for your placement.
Oh, she says to re-audition for your placement? I forgot that we re-audition for everything in this show.
Audition or not, we're gonna be in the back row. I'm just not gonna waste my time. Obviously, the thought of leaving with her crosses my mind, but I can't do it. It is the team I grew up with, and I want to.
What was I taping? What was I taping? Did you guys see that? What is that? What am I taping? I'm taping my big toe. Why am I taping my big toe? I must have gotten a blister or something. There's this, like, interview somewhere on the internet, I'm sure, from season 1, where me and Victoria are sitting on these little chairs, on those, like, director chairs, and we're answering questions about the show or whatever, and they were asking, like, what's an injury that you get, a common injury, and I think that was the question, and I answered toe slits. Toe slits are basically, like, this is so gross. So normally, to keep your feet healthy, you would want to like moisturize them. You would want to make sure the skin is soft and whatever. But in dance, because you're dancing barefoot all of the time, it's actually better to keep your feet a little bit more dry because then it's easier to turn on bare feet. And then you can still also get the grip using the muscle buildup that you do when you strengthen the muscles in the foot. When I would do turns and my feet sometimes were so dry and like cracked that the skin would then split at like the inseam of the toe. I'm not about to show you my feet right now. Imagine that this is the foot. If your toe bends this way, like this part of the toe would get cut and would bleed. And sometimes it would be so bad and maybe even really painful so that I wouldn't be able to like turn or like stand on it without it being like sharp pain. So I was like, okay, I should like tape it up just to make sure it's okay. I'm guessing that's what I was doing there, but I was taping like the pad of my toe. Why? Maybe I was just doing it for something to do in the scene. I don't know, and I will never know.
I want to change up the dance positions because I feel like everyone's always in the same positions and it's just kind of getting boring. So I just want to switch it up a little bit.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, it's interesting. I kind of expected us to have like whole new solos ready to do this audition routine. But I remember this season, like we had like 3 main big routines that we were rehearsing again and again and again. And anytime there was rehearsal scenes, we'd be rehearsing that dance. It would just be sections of that same routine and it would be different sections every time. You can see it in the later seasons that they are doing new dances every like other scene. It's like a brand new routine. Someone's in the studio just rehearsing a duet, but it's not just a rehearsal. It's like this is the duet performance and you have to put together a whole new duet and it'll be just for this one scene and it'll be this full moment. It was like they just like pack the episodes with dances and they all have to be new dances every single time, like almost a new dance every episode. That is insane, only because the amount of time they have to rehearse these dances is not very long. Work it! Work it! That was definitely an ADR line. For anyone who doesn't know, ADR is when you like go into a studio, a sound booth, and you record these lines, and sometimes they'll do what's called wild lines, which that's definitely what that was, where they say, just say some like cheers, like go Emily or go you or whatever, or wow, she's doing such a good job, like Work it, which is what I said in that moment. Work it. That was the ADR line for sure. Oh, that was so cool. I couldn't stop watching Lamar because he does that like weird head neck thing. Oh my gosh, I'm kind of doing it. I'm not. He does like this. He goes like this, and then like he just like isolates his body in such a way that's like so impressive. I can't do it as well, obviously, as him, but this is my version of that. And then he did like really cool. It was really cool. Anyways.
I know I'm not back row, but I'm pretty confident in second row, and I think I'd be happy there.
This was, I think, also part of the network's notes, because the first few episodes when they were filming it or whatever, they said the e-girls are too mean, so they had to eradicate that. And then they also said that Emily has to redeem herself in some way because she's the lead of the show. So now we're rooting for her, but I think I know where this is going.
In the middle line, we have Chloe, Riley, Tiffany, and James. And in the last line, we have West, Stephanie, and Emily. Good job.
Oh, West got put in the back row. I kind of liked what he did with it when he was doing his tutting. It was really good. Well, such is life, I suppose.
I do feel a little odd being in a row above my sister because, you know, she's always been in front of me.
But also a little bit like, haha, I win. Sibling rivalry. Am I right? It exists.
I'm confident that we're gonna win regionals.
I can't remember if I've said this already, but I'm going to be doing a Q&A video soon, so if you have any questions that you would like to ask me, comment them down below, and I'll pull from these comments and any future videos that you want to ask questions on, put them there, so that when I do Q&As sporadically throughout the year, I can pull from the comment sections. Also, I've got another channel, Brits Vlogs. If you want to check that out, you can. It's called Brits Vlogs, and it's where I put exactly what it says. Brits Vlogs. Gosh, I'm so oily. I can't wait to take this makeup off and like wash my face. Okay, that's all.
We need to get you a studio.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Channel so she can afford a studio.
Hey!